Welcome to the BJP's Circus of Distractions. Hello there, and welcome to the greatest show on earth. Or at least, that's what they'd like you to believe. Forget trapeze artists and lion tamers, folks, because in India, the biggest circus act is happening in the political arena. And leading the charge with a flourish and a wave is none other than the ruling party, the BJP. Now I know what you're thinking. John, isn't that a bit harsh? A tad dramatic even for you? And to that I say, my friends, hold on to your samosas because things are about to get wild. Because you see, this isn't just any old circus, this is a circus of distractions. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a headline about, say, unemployment, or farmers' protests, or, that pesky little thing called COVID-19? Chances are it's been a while. Because while those very real issues simmer in the background, the BJP has mastered the art of the distraction, the carefully curated headline grabber, the oh-so-shareable meme. But here's the thing about distractions, folks. They're awfully good at making you forget what you were supposed to be looking at in the first place. And in this case, what we should be looking at is a country grappling with some pretty serious problems. So, strap in, dear viewers, as we take a closer look at the BJP's circus of distractions and ask the question, who's really laughing? Now let's be clear, every government has its share of gaffes and blunders. That's politics, baby. But the sheer audacity and frequency of the BJP's, let's call them alternative facts, well, it's enough to make even the most seasoned political observer raise an eyebrow.
From claiming ancient India had internet and plastic surgery, take that, Silicon Valley and Hollywood, to suggesting clouds were manipulated to disrupt radar. Move over, storm from X-Men, you've got competition. My pronouncements have left scientists and historians alike scratching their heads.
And then there's the ever-entertaining Smriti Irani, who, when not busy adding mythology expert to her resume with her unique takes on the Aryan invasion, has also dabbled in the art of political theater.
Who needs Shakespeare when you can have my dramatic pronouncements about the opposition?
Let's not forget Anurag Thakur, a man who seems to believe that Bollywood is single-handedly responsible for every societal ill. Forget poverty, unemployment, or lack of access to education. Clearly it's those darn actors and their dance numbers that are holding India back. These are just a few highlights, folks. Believe me, we could be here all night. But the point is, amidst all the bluster and bizarre claims, it's easy to miss the real issues at hand. It's like a magician using flashy hand movements to distract you from the fact that, well, he's not actually making that rabbit disappear. Now I get it. Politics can be dry, complicated, and let's be honest, downright depressing at times. A good meme, a viral soundbite, a dose of outrage. It's all good for a chuckle, a distraction from the daily grind. But here's the thing. While we're busy hitting that share button, real people are hurting. While we're laughing at the latest gaffe, real lives are being impacted by the very real consequences of these policies. Remember demonetization? Of course you do. How could you forget those endless queues, the panic, the desperation in the eyes of people who suddenly found their hard-earned savings worthless overnight? The government promised it would curb black money and terrorism. What it delivered was economic chaos, particularly for the poorest and most vulnerable. And then there's the issue of unemployment, which has been steadily rising under the BJP's watch. Young people, armed with degrees and dreams, are finding themselves forced to take up menial jobs, their aspirations crushed under the weight of a faltering economy. But hey, at least they can make a meme about it, right? The laughter sticks in your throat, doesn't it? Because the truth is, behind the smoke and mirrors of the BJP's carefully constructed circus, there's a human cost. And it's a cost that's getting harder and harder to ignore. Section 4, Demonetization, the magic trick that disappeared millions of livelihoods. Now let's talk about demonetization. Ah yes, that grand magic trick back in 2016. Poof! 86% of India's currency gone just like that. It was like David Copperfield decided to make everyone's wallets disappear. Except, less fun and with significantly dire consequences. The government, in its infinite wisdom, decided that the best way to tackle black money was to just get rid of most of the cash in circulation. Genius, right? Except not really. See, they forgot one tiny detail. Most ordinary Indians, they rely on cash. Small businesses, daily wage earners, the elderly, they were all left high and dry. The result? Chaos, panic, people lost their livelihoods, small businesses crumbled, the economy took a nosedive. It's estimated that demonetization shaved off a solid 2% from India's GDP growth. That's not just a statistic, folks, that's millions of lives impacted. But hey, at least the lines at the ATMs were entertaining, right? Except, not really. Because the saddest part, it didn't even work. The black money? Most of it found its way back into the system. The terrorists? Well, they just switched to different denominations. Demonetization was a masterclass in how to inflict maximum pain for minimal gain. A real crowd pleaser, that one. Section 5, COVID-19, a tragedy orchestrated to a chorus of Taali-thaali. And then, just when you thought things couldn't get any more surreal, along came COVID-19. Now, pandemics are tough on any government, but the BJP's handling of it? Well, let's just say it was a performance for the ages. Remember those early days? When the virus was still a distant threat and the government's response was a rousing chorus of Taali-thaali? Yes, folks, you heard that right. We were told to clap our hands and bang our pots and pans to ward off the virus, because nothing says public health policy like a good old-fashioned percussion session. But then, reality hit, and it hit hard. Hospitals were overwhelmed, oxygen supplies ran out, people were dying, gasping for breath, while the government's narrative remained stubbornly detached from the ground reality. Remember those horrific images of mass cremations? The Ganges overflowing with bodies? Those weren't figments of our collective imagination, folks. That was India's COVID crisis. And what was the government's response? Denial, obfuscation, data manipulation. It was like they were trying to gaslight an entire nation into believing that the tragedy unfolding before their eyes wasn't actually happening.